Hello and welcome again. I'm Rev.Arlene C. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is always appreciated. Um, I don't, honestly, I can't remember if I made a video about this before or not, but here we are with this video anyways. And it's something that's been coming up in conversations with clients and friends and family, you know. So it felt like, okay, so it's probably a good chance that I need to make a video about this. And, and again, it's just another perspective of how to look at things and understand when you are on this journey, especially for those who are what, I call in the work, right? When you're in the work of that, uh, self-healing basically. And like, as I said before in videos, I don't like the word healing, or my version of the word healing doesn't mean that you're broken or you need to be fixed. It's about remembering and breaking your heart open to remember, you know, what your soul is so that you can reconnect to your soul. So what's been coming up in conversations, and again, so it's for those who are in the work, like I said, right? So, you've spent quite a bit of time now peeling those layers, peeling deep into that onion of, you know, of your programs and beliefs and understanding why you operate the way you do, right? Or even if you're not quite sure of why you operate, but you're on that you're on that journey, you're on that voyage of wanting to unpeel those layers. So sometimes what ends up happening is when you interact with other people, it becomes frustrating and you become triggered in a way, right? Because you recognize maybe most likely parts of yourself. So then it becomes frustrating in a way. And understanding that everybody and everything is a mirror in some way, shape, or form for you. Um, but anyways, so what is something that comes up often? A program that is very much more, I guess, potent, or maybe potent is not the right word, but it is something that is deeply rooted with a lot of people, and that is the victim mentality, right? Where everything happens to you, right? And it's, the tendency to want to blame outside people and sources for your misery or your suffering, right? So, and you'll have these people who, what they tend to do is always, I guess the word would be complain, right? They complain, but they don't want to make any changes, and they always come up with excuses, and then, so let's say you, the person who's been doing the work and on this journey, you recognize these things in other people, and so you then try to help, right? And then you get frustrated because you spent all that time trying to, help that person, give them advice, and then they don't do anything with it, or they just do the complete opposite, right? Or all they keep doing is still making excuses as why it's not going to work and how it's not up to them to change things. It should be the other person, right? Anyway, so these are just some scenarios of how that victim mentality works. And then you, as the person who can kind of see things from the bigger perspective, and you're trying to help, but that person isn't ready to take responsibility and ownership for their part in the life they're living and how they allow people to treat them, right? So the point of this video is for you, the person who is in the work, another, I guess, possible strategy of how to keep your inner peace, I suppose would be the word I would use, and to understand that It's not your job to fix or save anyone. And understanding, like, yes, there's a piece of you that maybe you've tried once, you gave your 2 cents, right? Your perspective, what you've been through in the journey, what you understand, and they don't take that, right? So they're not ready. So it's understanding that you need to step back from that, right? And understanding that some people are just not ready, and everyone is here on their own timeline, right? They're here on their own healing journey, and it's we can't rush them, right? We can't rush somebody on that journey. You basically planted the seed and you just have to leave it alone. And either that seed will grow or it won't or it's only going to grow when it's ready to grow for that person. So the biggest part of this is understanding your role in, yes, if you're in a space where it is too frustrating for you and you become easily annoyed by it, that is part of something that you need to deal with for you, right? So that's another aspect of your peeling of the layer of understanding, right? Why is it upsetting you so much, right? But also understanding that, again, back to the point of you can't fix them, you can't heal them, it's not your job to save them. So it's creating those boundaries of maybe you limit the time, right? Or you change the subject, or you just say to them, I'm sorry, I can't listen anymore, or whatever, right? But it's coming from a place of compassion, right? Because you need to remember that there was a time that you were in the same position as them, right? So you didn't just have all the answers all of a sudden, right? So to then put that expectation on someone else is not fair. But it's more about how do you just hold the space for that person? And that's kind of where this is all coming to. It's that idea of holding that space. So in your heart, all you're sending is love to that person. You're sending them strength and clarity and courage, right? And bravery. So it's almost like in that space of, I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to change your mind and make you see things my way. So in your mind, in your intention of when you think of that person or when that person contacts you, it's of, okay, like, I'm going to give them a little bit of time to talk, right? If that's where you're at and you're okay with that, right? You give them that little bit of time to talk. But in that time, you're just like, I'm sending you love. I'm sending you clarity. I'm sending you courage. And when you're ready, I trust that clarity and light will shine upon you to understand where to go to next to help support your life, right? And sometimes too, even for me, when I'm talking to people and they're deep in that cycle right now of going through the victim and the complaining and stuff like that, often when I'm on the phone with them, in my head, I'm reciting the white light prayer that I remember sharing in my other video, but I'll just say it again anyways. So I think of that person as I'm talking to them, and I'm just constantly in my mind just saying, you are the light. The light is within you. The light moves throughout you. The light surrounds you. The light protects you. You are the light. And most often than not, that person will all of a sudden just be like, I need to go now. You don't need to hear this anymore. Or, I just need to go. And then I just let them go. I'm like, all right, yeah, have a great day. And that's it. I'm like, okay, yeah, sounds good. I need to go too, whatever. Right. And often that will happen, or there'll just be a shift in the conversation, so it's interesting how that comes forward too, right? Just how energy works. But the main reason, like I said, for this message, for this video, is to understand that even though you might see things from a different perspective, again, it's not our job to fix or save or heal anybody. We just hold space while still conserving our energy for ourselves and how to be in best service for others as well. So it's understanding where to find that balance of how much of yourself can you make available, right? And if it is too much to be in that physical contact with that person, whether it be on the phone or in person, whatever, if it's too much, then how can you still be of service and in space for them when you're without needing that physical contact? So if you need to ignore phone calls for a bit, that's fine. But then in that time, you can just visualize that person and say the white light prayer and just ask that they be protected and guided on this journey of self-discovery, and as they heal and learn um, that they are in the victim mentality role. But then also understanding that they may never come out of it. And again, you need to be okay with that, right? You need to be okay with the fact that some people will never move out of that victim mentality because it's just not part of their lesson or journey in this life. And also, there's for some people, it's because whether it's positive or negative, it's fulfilling a certain need in them. So they are getting something out of it, whether it's positive or negative, it's feeding something in them, and it's something they can't let go of until and if they're ever ready to. I'm hoping that made sense. Um, Thank you again so much for being here. Until next time, I'm surrounding you all in love. And remember that you are loved, you are seen, you are safe, and you are whole. Until next time.